Shalom Yisrael. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rucha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to the Ofle Akim that's preached the word in all truth and sincerity, along with the Israelite foreigner brothers that are like the heathens, but the line of outside goes back to the nation of Israel, which nation of Israel are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans through the prophecies and curses of Deuteronomy 28 chapter and throughout the Bible. So this is a brother you call a mop lesson, and on today's lesson will be entitled, The Lord Will Always Show Signs to Prove He's With You. You know, that's going to go on some precepts and go into an account, and now, Lord willing, you brothers and you sisters out there be edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemot Shai, you know, because very soon, enter into Jacob's trouble, we're gonna need rock solid faith in our God, Yahweh Shemot Shai, man, because it's a reason why we go through a lot of trials and tribulations throughout our daily walk, you know, because that is the Lord strengthening our spirit, increasing our faith, so we can be prepared for the big test, which is going to be, Jacob's trouble. And I want to go into account dealing with the three holy children, which is Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, which were Daniel's three friends, and they were Israelites, they were Judites, and their real names were, then were their Babylonian names, but when you go to Daniel, the first chapter, they actually tell you their names, their Hebrew names. Daniel 1-6, it reads, Now among these were the children of Judah, so they were all Judites, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. So the three holy children, as you will read in the Apocrypha, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, and let's go to Daniel 3, because this was Nebuchadnezzar, had set up the golden image, and he was feeling himself. He got very proud, and he wanted all nations to bow down unto him when they would hear, the music playing and stuff. Brothers can read the whole chapter, but I'm just going to get to the point. Daniel 3:19, Daniel's friends protected. It says, then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So after Nebuchadnezzar found out that they wasn't going to bow, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that they wasn't going to bow down to the golden image, he was angry. His facial expressions had changed. You see, it said, therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heated. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, this is the point, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, man. So those men, which were the most mighty men that was in Nebuchadnezzar's army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they got killed, man. The Lord slew them by the fire. So this was a sign. This was a sign that the Lord, was showing to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego that he got some, man. You see? It says, and these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound in the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, and rose up in haste, and spake, and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the fourth is like the Son of God, which the fourth man was Yahweh protecting Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, man, the servants of the Most High. You know? So that's the point I want to get. That the sign that the Lord gave Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was the Lord killed those mighty men that put them in the fiery furnace. And on top of that, the Lord, the Heavenly Father Yahweh, sent his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, to be in the midst of the fire to protect Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, uh, you know, to protect them from not being devoured by the fire, man. You know? So this was a sign that the Lord had them, man. You see? And the Lord gives us signs on a daily basis, to prove that He's with us as well. You know? Because the scriptures talk about being not ignorant in the small or great matter. So it could be a small sign. For example, you may have, lost your brush or something, right? Let's say you lost your brush, to brush your hair. You may have lost your brush at work, and then that's your most favorite brush you had, and then you know you go to work with, the next day, thinking that the brush is gone, that the workers threw it away, you know. Lo and behold, you find the brush is still in the same spot where you left it at the previous night, man. Who? Not the Lord got you, you know. So that's just a small example, you know. So that's a sign that the Lord got you, man. Because sometimes we can deal with anxiety and panicking. Oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But the scripture's talking about let go from the immortal thoughts, And it's something that I'm learning in the faith, you know. Because the more and more the Lord increases us in the faith, the more and more He's gonna them tests is gonna be more harsher. But with balance, the Lord will make a way for you to escape and to endure the test. You see, as long as you believe and have the faith. Um, this is 2nd Esdras 14. Second Esdras 14 and verse 14. And it reads, let go from the immortal thoughts. Right. What would it be the immortal thoughts? Man, you know, how I'm gonna get this, how I'm gonna get that. If you lose your job, damn, how I'm gonna pay my bills, how I'm gonna pay my rent, or if you're looking for an apartment, damn, how I'm a Lord willing, man, the landlords will accept me, they, you know, just, these mortal thoughts, man, because we understand at the end of the day, the Lord controls the hearts of men. But all we have to do is just show forth the effort, because the scripture's talking about the faith without works is dead. So we have to have works to um, to prove our faith in the Lord. And once the Lord sees our works that we're serious, you know, He will, He will hound the rest. You see, it says, "Cast away the birds of men, put off now the weak nature," because that's really a weak nature. Because worrying about, oh, I'm gonna do this, how I'm gonna do that. That's really a feminine trait. You know, yeah, we in the flesh. We can think about things like, man, how I'm, how I'm gonna escape with this, man. How I'm gonna get away with this. But at the end of the day, we just, throw our prayers to Yahweh Shai, and then we make forth the effort. Then, the Lord will will hollow the rest, man, hollow the ground. You know, it says, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. That's right, man. So we gotta set aside the thoughts that are most heavy into us, man. The demonic thoughts and doubt demons. That lazy demons. You know, we gotta haste to flee from these times, man, because at the end of the day, we got captives exiled to be loose, man. We want to be loose from this captivity. See? So let's go to Hebrews 11:1. It says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. This is the definition of faith according to the Bible. You know? So, we hope for things, we hope for certain things, but we don't see it we don't see it carnally. We don't see it tangibly, but we believe in it. You see? But we must have the faith, as it says in verse 6. But without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to Yahweh must believe that he is. Right, so we have to have faith in Yahweh by Shemon Shai. Even if we have a little bit of faith, you know, that's good. But as long as the faith has to increase, it has to abound, you know. It says, for he that must come into the Most High must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. Yes, so because the Lord is going to, Lord, we probably elect, he's going to reward us for our works that we did towards his name, diligently. The Lord is not unrighteous to forget your works, a labor of love. Well, if it's paraphrasing the scripture, man, you know. And just what I just thought about this right now with Abraham. When the Lord told Abraham to leave his father's house, Abraham, he didn't know where he was going. But the Lord, he had faith in the Lord, and the Lord was blessing his journey. Just get to the point. Yep. Genesis 12:1 says, now the Lord Yahweh has said to Abram, which Abram means Father exalted, Abaram, because this was before his name was changed to Abraham, which Abraham is from the Hebrew word Abraham, which means father of a multitude. But Abram is Abaram, which means exalted father, or father exalted. Abba means father, and Ram means exalted, because the rams, they dwell on, high mountains and stuff, exalted mountains, so, Abraham, he's our exalted father, you know. Genesis 12:1 says, now Lord Yahweh has said to Abram, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house into a land that I will show thee. Because when you go into the history, Abraham's father, Terah, his father was engulfed into idol worship, so the Heavenly Father Yahweh didn't want Abraham to be corrupted by his father's ways, So we go into the history. Verse 2, it says, and I will make thee of a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee, and indeed all the families of the earth shall be blessed. All the families of the earth are the 12 tribes of Israel. So Abram departed as the Lord Yahweh had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him, which Lot was Abraham's nephew. And Abraham was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. Haran is Syria. So, the Lord told Abraham to leave your father's house, man. He didn't know where he was going, but he had the faith, man. Because the scriptures talking about we're gonna have to be pilgrims on earth. A pilgrim is a traveler, a wanderer, or a nomad that goes one place to another. So the Lord is already preparing us to be in his mindset. So, at the end of the day, the Lord, going back to the title of my lesson, I read it again, the Lord will always show signs to prove he's with you, man. And that sign in Daniel, the 3rd chapter, was when the Lord killed those mighty men to prove to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego that he was with them. And also, because the scripture's talking about Exodus 34, verse 10, he said, "Behold, I make a covenant before all thy people. I will do marvels such as have not been in all the earth, nor in any nation. And all the people among which thou art shall see the work of the Lord, for it is a terrible thing that I will do with thee." So the Lord is about doing marvels and miracles and showing signs and new wonders, you know? So, you know, because sometimes, our faith can be not as high, because some days varies. Some days our faith is high, some days it's low. But but when it's low, that's when the Lord shows his signs to prove that he's with us, you know, and to hide pride from man, because if we was all in spirit 24/7, then we will get proud, man, you know. Now I'm not pushing that spirit out to not have faith at all. No, you're supposed to have faith, but there's some points in your life when your faith can get low sometimes, just speaking through experience, you know. But when it's low, that's when the Lord shows his signs that he has you, man. You know, and sometimes the signs is not. Sometimes the signs can be. Sometimes the situation can be darkened. You don't know what the outcome of the situation is going to be. It's darkened. The Lord didn't give you understanding yet. But once you start applying, you show that effort to get what you want, and apply yourself, and the Lord will start um, disabling all that darkness and to start showing you signs to then the Lord bless you with the understanding. Oh, this is why the Lord did this. You know, I see why the Lord did that. I see why the Lord did this. You see, like I said earlier, everything is for our benefit, man. Some things may seem like, for example, Joseph. When Joseph went into slavery, best believe he was thinking like, man, I'm gonna be a slave in Egypt forever. I'm gonna die a slave. But the situation worked out in his favor because that dream he had, it had to be fulfilled. When his father and his mother um and the 12 tribes bowed down to him because Joseph was governor of Egypt, so that dream had to be had to come to pass. So Joseph ended up becoming governor, all to save his people, man, from the famine. You know, so a situation that looked bad turned out to be good, and I think some situation can be like that to for us too. But we can't give up. Just gotta have the faith, man. It's like if I'm rambling a lot, but this is Psalms 46:10. Be still, know that I am Yahweh. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth. Right. So be still meaning relax. Chill out. I got you. You know, just be patient. Pa, it means right here, relax. So chill out. Lord basically saying, chill out. I got you, man. Just keep the faith and know that I got you, man. The Lord's gonna be exalted among the heathen and in the earth. You see, 2 Corinthians 5:7 says, "For we walk by faith and not by sight." That's right, Akim. So that was pretty much it. I just want to make a quick lesson on that. Lord willing, Akim was edified. And through our daily walk, Akim and Akwaf, you got to keep continuing to have faith in the Lord, no matter what, not to give up, man. And to don't be disenchanted, don't be discouraged. When things will happen according to your own way, because just because things are happening according to your own way, don't mean it's not going to be prosperous. You know, the Lord can sometimes do things another way. Because the Lord's thoughts are not our thoughts, nor His ways our ways, man. Because He's on a whole high vibration in us, man. So, Lord, I was edified, and until next time, Shalom.